What's up, guys? Just a quick heads up that the music was blocked in this video due to copyright, so I have muted the audio. However, I have provided a link to the song in the description, so you can open a new tab and listen to the song alongside with my reaction. Or you can just join me on Patreon for unedited footage. But for now, enjoy the video, guys.
Almost walked right on camera without my hat. Cannot have that. Can't do it. Not today, at least. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. My name is Justin, and today we are listening to the Abbey Road Suite off of Abbey Road by the Beatles, which was released in 1969. So this will be the conclusion of the album for us here. This is tracks You Never Give Me Your Money till the end, and then the bonus track, Her Majesty. So we're going to finish off the rest of the album, the rest of side 2. Now, inevitably, when I try to upload this, it's probably going to get blocked, just like every other song from the Beatles for some reason has. I've tried a bunch of different things. I cannot figure out why or what it is exactly. I've tried test videos on my own, and it just ain't working. So, what I have done for you guys that are watching this, in the general timeline that this video is coming out, I've actually released an extra video this morning. Usually I do 2 videos on the weekend. Today I'm doing 3. Here's the reason. This is going to be a longer song, and I'm going to probably have to silence the music. So when I put the link to my Patreon, which gives you the access to the Dropbox to watch the full version with the music, I know it's going to take a lot of bandwidth. I've been recommending to you guys to download the video if you can. That way it's just easier when it's on your own device. And I know sometimes that's going to take a while as well. So I'm doing this so you can start the download on this video over on Dropbox. The link is in the description. And while this one's downloading for you, you can go watch the other video, and then when you finish that video, hopefully this one will be finished downloading, and you can watch it that way. I figured I can't speed up your download times, but I can at least give you some entertainment perhaps while that's going on. Otherwise, let's finish out the album. Let's jump into it. You guys are more than welcome to join me on Twitter. Join me in the comments down below. Once again, if the warning was at the beginning of the video, I'm sorry. I literally cannot do anything apparently, but the link for the full video is in the top of the description. Guys, let's do it. This is the Beatles with the Abbey Road Suite. That was great. That was fantastic. That was a great ending to the whole album. I thought, especially as someone that's new to the Beatles, but I thought that that whole suite encompassed and showed off pretty much like all the different facets of what makes the Beatles. You know, who they are and what they do, all the different styles that they can pull off, like pull off. You know, not just like, they're kind of good at this, but they're really good at this. This kind of demonstrates that they were kind of good at a lot of things. So one of the things that I thought was really cool, before I kind of break this apart song by song or track by track or whatever, is before doing the session, I did see that the hidden track is what was Her Majesty. So I was like, how is there a hidden track? It's my 2021 brain thinking like, how is there a hidden track on the album? You know? And it's the simplest of solutions, and I was just too blinded to see. All they did was on the vinyl record, the silence after the end, record that silence, let that play out. So most people would just think that was the end of the album, and then just add on another track. Just don't list it, right? Like just don't show the hidden track Her Majesty on the track listing. But if you stayed around long enough, you would be greeted with at least one small snippet of a last song to send off the album. And one thing that I personally really like is just how short a lot of these tracks are, right? So like most of these are like maybe a minute, 2 minutes long, and it helps it go by really quick. It's just like a quick send off, a quick encore of everything that they can do. From the very emotional songs like, to me, not Golden Shower. Very emotional songs like Golden Slumbers and Carry That Weight. Those two were really, really impactful. So maybe something a little more silly and jaunty with like Polythene Pam and Mean Mr. Mustard. But regardless of the mood, each one shows a lot of really good musicianship. I especially like the end, like literally the end, where, you got Ringo going off on the drums. I love that. I'm always going to like a drum solo, so yes, please, more of that. And then the guitar solos that are going on, from the soft to the very distorted. You got a lot going on, and that's like a perfect send-off. Talking about You Never Give Me Your Money, which is a hilarious title. When I was reading the lyrics for that one, which I need to pull up again, so I'm going to keep on talking until I am able to pull them up. There we go. So I was thinking like negotiating with a record company, right? Like, you never give me your money, you only give me your funny paper, which was like the contract. Like, it's funny because they're losing. I would imagine, like, honest. I'm not sure. But within the song, Paul sounds like, what? He sounds awesome singing in here. The guitar, blazing. But it begins with some quaint piano before the singing pops in, before the harmonies pop in, and before everything comes on in full. This is a great launch pad for the rest of the suite. This gives us something very, very solid to base our foundation on before building it up and beginning this journey. And then looking at the next verse, I never give you my number, I only give you my situation. And in the middle of investigation, I break down. Like, I just feel like this is problems with the record label or something like that. And they're just not getting along together, That magic feeling is what makes the music what it is. That's what makes the music so special, is that magic feeling from the artist. And that's getting kind of like lost amongst all the business dealings and the business side of everything. The next verse says, one sweet dream, pick up the bags and get in the limousine. Soon we'll be away from here. Soon we'll be away from all the business things, so we can go back to the things that we wanted in the first place, to just make good music. And then the outro, which is repeating all good children go to heaven, I see that as like the band, right? Sometimes you got to go through some stuff, but in the end you get to heaven. You get to the dream that you were wanting to have in the first place. You get to the dream that you were working towards. And during those ending harmonies, I love the bass that you hear. It just stands out so well. I really am, of course, enjoying all of the music, but I'm really, I'm scoped in and I'm lined up with Mr. Paul McCartney because I really, really enjoy his bass playing specifically. The next song, Sun King, I really like the transition, but also just the whole mood of it. Along with the sound of cicadas and that kind of thing, I'm getting the imagery of like the sun coming down at sunset. You're in a wide open field and you see the fireflies kind of flying around, and it's just a very beautiful and serene scene. The light percussion and the airy guitar fill this space, but not too much. There's a lot of atmosphere still left in the song, and I think that gives it a very, down-to-earth feel, especially after the last one. Speaking of the sun, I feel like the track really gives you that radiance. It really makes you feel warm, not only aside their harmonies, which are just like low-key sublime, but the beautiful guitar, the organ that you hear picking up in there as well, all of it just wisp you off into a very warm place. And let's get into the lyrics really quick on this one. Here come the Sun King, here come the Sun King. Everybody's laughing, everyone's happy. So, especially coming off of the last song when they were saying all good children go to heaven or something of that nature. I have to look at the lyrics again, I've already forgotten. But this is almost like that heaven. This is that same feeling. And at the end, at first I was thinking they were speaking Spanish, but some of the words in there were Italian. So I'm not sure, maybe it was Italian the whole time. On the side it's saying that it's just a mixture of Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, and it doesn't really mean anything. Cuando para mucho, mi amore de felice corazón. Okay, cuando is like want. I want for much, my love of something heart. I'm just looking at the lyrics, I don't know, because on the side it's just saying like it doesn't make sense. Mundo paparazzi, a lot of paparazzi, my love, Chica Ferdy parasol. I have no idea what that is. It may not really mean anything, but it sounds good. And sometimes the words don't necessarily have to have a literal meaning behind it. Sometimes it's just about the actual sound of the words. Now, moving off of Sun King and going to Mean Mr. Mustard, the mood completely shifts, completely changes, and we get kind of back into that more bouncy, almost like silly kind of feel. It sounds like there's tuba on there. I'm not sure. It may just be like fuzzy bass or fuzzy guitar. It sounds like a tuba to me. I don't have much to say on this song. This seems more of just a transition in moods and a transition to the next one, which I enjoyed a little bit more. But it's not bad. Lyrically, it reminds me a little bit of Aqualung. But it's not Aqualung, it's Mean Mr. Mustard, who seems to be like homeless, I guess. Mean Mr. Mustard sleeps in the park, he shaves in the dark trying to save paper. Like, he even turns off the lights and shaves in the dark to save electricity. But I'm pretty sure you don't want to shave in the dark. That doesn't sound like a good thing to me. Sleeps in a hole in the road, saving up to buy some clothes. Keeps a 10-bob note up his nose. Such a mean old man, mean old man. His sister Pam works in a shop. She never stops, she's a go-getter. Takes him out to look at the queen, only place he's ever been. Always shouts something obscene, such a dirty old man, dirty old man. Okay, so he's probably not the type of person you want to bring around people. He's probably going to make a little bit of a scene. Now, it's interesting to compare him, Mr. Mustard, with his sister Pam. She works in the shop. He sleeps in the park. He shaves in the dark. She never stops. So it's like she keeps going, going, going. She's active. She's like, you know, always doing something. And he's just like keeping things to himself and trying to save up. He sounds like he's just trying to save up to have a life. Perhaps the life that she has. Lennon says that this story was inspired by a newspaper story about a miser who concealed his cash wherever he could in order to prevent people from forcing him to spend it. Okay, so maybe he's not homeless, he's just trying to save money to the point that, like, it's extreme, you know? And I do see on this side that it is a fuzz bass, not a tuba, that's making that sound. That was dumb of me to say. Moving into Polythene Pam, first of all, I love the way he says hilt. When he says she's killer diller when she's dressed to the hilt, but he says ilt. I love that. Just a little bit of a like interesting inflection in there. Ringo, the rumbling of the drums really drives this one. I like what McCartney's doing on the bass when he just kind of like wow, like works up and down the fretboard. And then you got some nice guitar as well, kind of rounding out this whole song. It's a nice continuation, especially thematically. Pam and Mustard I felt were the weakest parts of the whole medley. But, I mean, the rest of it is really, really strong from here on. And I do like how we're taking the character from the previous song and now giving her her own piece here. The lyrics on this one, well, you should see Polythene Pam. She's so good looking, but she looks like a man. Well, you should see her in drag, dressed in her polythene bag. You should see Polythene Pam. I don't know what polythene is. Let me find out what that is in the first place. Is it just a plastic bag? What? I don't... So is this person called Polythene Pam because they've had like surgeries or something?
I don't know.
I guess one of Lennon's friends had wanted him to meet some girl. I guess the girl wanted to meet him, and I guess that she was dressed in polythene, which is interesting. Moving into She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, I think that this is a really cool song and kind of takes the best of each world. I like how Ringo leads into this one, setting up this really nice, once again, like big drum moment before it settles back into a kind of laid back guitar. Really, really nice vocal delivery. And this is just a nice, solid all around song. I love those big moments in which the guitar begins to scale up and down on the fretboard alongside Harrison's guitar. This one is like really, really good. For a 2-minute song, it sounds really full, like it could stand up on its own. And talking about the lyrics here, she came in through the bathroom window protected by a silver spoon, but now she sucks her thumb and wanders by the banks of her own lagoon. So she was born with a silver spoon, so to speak, so she had money, or she came from money rather, but now she sucks her thumb and wanders by the banks of her own lagoon. Like, now she may have lost all of those things and she's almost like a baby. She may be helpless at this point. Didn't anybody tell her, didn't anybody see? Sundays on the phone to Monday, Tuesdays on the phone with me. And we get the revelation that he is a cop, or was a cop at least, or at least worked in the police department. So maybe they ran into each other, she got in trouble with the law, he is the law, and hence they met. Says that this song was inspired by Apple Scruffs, who broke into McCartney's home. Okay, so Diane Ashley says, we were bored, he was out, so we decided to pay him a visit. We found a ladder in his garden and stuck it up at the bathroom window, which he'd left slightly open. I was the one who climbed in and got it. So it looks like they got into his house and stole some stuff. So looking at the lyrics, I'm not quite sure how it relates. Now, moving into Golden Slumbers, this and the following song are, to me, the best two on this suite. This is pure emotion, the piano, the singing, and it looks like the orchestration was handled by George Martin. I mean, this one hits really, really deeply. And we get some more of those raw, absolutely intense vocals as well. I mean, this one, to me, is a showstopper alongside with the following song, Carry That Weight. And you know, I don't know if I've made this comparison before, but the way that Ringo plays the drums reminds me in some parts of Nick Mason. Not overly flashy at all. Some would say perhaps not like the greatest drummer ever. Now, I don't know, I haven't listened to enough at all, but one thing I can say is that he knows how to play the emotional beats of the music, of the story, of whatever is going on. McCartney's singing is extremely heartfelt and endearing, and I feel like it's the type of voice and delivery that warms your heart. And what a brilliant transition into the following song, Carry That Weight. Once again, Ringo carrying you over, and then they pop in with some big harmonies.
Ooh, that's good.
And you get the full effect of the orchestra in this song. These two are like perfect together. Now, I would love to know your opinions on this. How is McCartney rated as a vocalist? Because from what I've heard, he can go from so sweet and so soft and so gentle into building such intensity that I don't know. It's surprising for me. Like I said, I'll just kick the table. Like I said, for someone who is unfamiliar with the Beatles and I don't really know, I've just heard their names and stuff. Now it's really starting to come together. Carry That Weight. The way that it, starts gentle from the previous one, builds up into this, and then they still bring it down, but they bring it to a simmer. It's still hot, right? And then they once again use the orchestration, the bass, the guitar, like everything, the vocals, build it right back up into those high heights. The end actually sounds like the end of a show. I mean, you guys have been to concerts, you know what I mean, but that big celebratory feeling. I love the guitar leads that start off in the beginning, of course, leading into the
Oh, yeah.
and then into the drum solo. I mean, it really is a celebration of not only each member in their respective capacities and instruments, but as a whole of the Beatles, as a whole of this album. And I saw a note here that says all 4 Beatles have a solo in the end, including Ringo Starr. Starr dislikes solos, preferring to cater drum work to whoever sang in a particular performance. I think that is so important and so telling, because that's what I meant that I was getting from him, for example, in comparison to Nick Mason from Pink Floyd, is that he is a song drummer, right? Like, and the song ends with such a huge, glorious moment. The music really swells up into something absolutely perfect. That's brilliant. That's really cool. And in those last few lines, they're repeating love you, but the last ones are saying, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. It's a nice little philosophical crumb to throw us before they leave us for the album. Oh wait, they don't. After a few seconds, Her Majesty kicks in just to give you one last little piece of the pie, right? I like it because it's just one last fun bit of music to send off the album, to send off the Beatles. And I love the guitar playing. It sounds really nice, especially matching with the vocals here. They just kind of like sweetly walk next to each other into the sunset. And looking at the lyrics, Her Majesty is a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Her Majesty is a pretty nice girl, but she changes from day to day. I was thinking Her Majesty like the Queen. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I want to tell her that I love her a lot, but I gotta have a belly full of wine. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl. Someday I'm going to make her mine. Now, is this actually talking about the Queen? I don't know. Maybe he has a little bit of bravado, but alongside of that bravado, he needs a little bit of wine as well. Or it could just be talking about some person. I just see Her Majesty, I think the Queen. So what did you guys think of the Abbey Road Suites? Which do you prefer, side 1 of the album or side 2? What is your favorite song within the Suites? What is your least favorite song within the Suites? I think for myself, I'm going to have to go with Sun King for favorites, alongside with Golden Slumber, Carry That Weight. I think those are the strongest ones here. Anyways, I would love to know your thoughts on the song. Hopefully it worked out for you, for those who watched it over on Dropbox. I hope that you have a fantastic day, guys. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. I will absolutely talk to you tomorrow. Bye.